I'm Anita Wiklém from the Wiklém Group of Companies, which includes Wiklém Design and our sister company, Wiklém Design Plus Build. I am going to walk you through two different project delivery models that are commonly used for condominium refurbishment projects: Design and Tender Plus Build and Design Plus Build. This session is about giving you a clear, practical understanding of how each model works, what sets them apart, and most importantly, how your board can determine which approach is the best fit for your building. Both models are well established and widely used across the industry. Historically, most projects followed the design, tender, build process, but over the past few years or so, we have seen notably shift. At the Wiklém Group, we've worked with over 400 condominium corporations in the past 30 years, and today about 90% of our projects are delivered through the Design Plus Build model. Let's take a closer look at how each model works. There are two main approaches. In Design and Tender Plus Build, the design and the construction are handled separately under two distinct contracts. Contractors bid competitively after the design is complete, which determines the final construction costs. In Design Plus Build, the design construction are completed collaboratively under a single contract. Construction costs are developed and refined during the design process. Here is what the process looks like for each model. In Design and Tender Plus Build, the board hires a design firm to develop the scope, drawings, and specifications. The final design package is issued to several general contractors for competitive bidding. The board reviews the bids and awards the project to one contractor. Construction is carried out under a separate contract with the design firm providing oversight to ensure the design is followed. In the Design Plus Build model, the Design Plus Build firm works with the board at the outset to develop design concepts and a preliminary construction budget. As design progresses, budgets are updated to reflect scope changes, design direction, and material selections. Once everything is approved, the same firm executes the construction, meaning there is no handoff between a designer and an outside contractor. Here is a visual representation of a process comparison. With Design Tender Build projects, the interior designer works directly with the client with minimal input from a contractor, aside from possibly helping with a preliminary budget. Once the design is finalized and tendered, a general contractor is selected and construction begins. The designer's involvement during construction is limited, primarily ensuring the design is followed. Collaboration between designer and contractor is minimal. In Design Build project, the designer and contractor collaborate from the very beginning. They work together throughout the design process, offering feedback, solving problems, and refining construction costs in real time as the design evolves. This integrated approach allows for continuous alignment between design intent and build execution. Let's go over some of the pros and cons of each delivery model, starting with Design and Tender Plus Build. In this approach, the project is fully designed before it's tendered to contractors. One of the key features is competitive bidding during the construction phase. This is often a requirement for condominium corporations to ensure transparency and accountability. A limitation of this model is that construction costs are determined after the design is complete, which means there is less flexibility to adjust scope or material without revisiting the design, which can be costly. Also, the tendering phase adds time to the process. With Design Plus Build, the design and construction team work together under a single contract from the outset. This model does not include competitive bidding in the traditional sense, since a contractor is selected earlier in the process. However, because construction input is integrated during the design, there tends to be a greater cost visibility earlier on, and budgets can be refined as the design develops. This approach can also lead to shorter overall timelines. Here we see a sample cost comparison where you have design and tender plus build. The design firm is 5%, the contractor is 20%, labor is 20%, and materials are 55% of the project cost. In the design build graphic, you can see that the design plus build firm is combined with design and contractor at 20%, labor stays at 20%, and the material cost is 40%. And we can reach that by changing the specification until the material costs fit the budget, which allows for up to a 20% savings. So when should you engage professionals? The answer is as early as possible. Ideally, 3 to 5 years before scheduled reserve fund work. This ensures the project can be properly scoped and budgeted. When selecting professionals, ask your network, directors, managers, engineers. Check associations like ACMO, CCI, ARIDO, and IDC. Attend industry events where you can meet and compare firms. When requesting proposals, consistency is critical. Typically, boards should invite 3 firms to tour the site to discuss the scope of work. Provide the same information to all firms: project objectives, scope, and proposal requirements. For design plus build proposals, request preliminary budgets broken down by key elements like flooring, wall finishes, and paint. When requesting proposals, ask firm to provide their company background, their experience in condominium refurbishment, references, an implementation plan, design fees, and for design plus build firms, a preliminary construction budget. This ensures you're comparing apples to apples. Once you have a short list, invite proponents to present to the board in person. The agenda usually includes an introduction to their firm, a review of their proposal fees and preliminary budget if a design plus build, examples of past work, their initial vision for your project, a Q&A period, and site tours of completed projects can help with final decisions. As we wrap up, let's step back and look at the big picture. Both delivery models are valid. They're commonly used for condominium common area refurbishments and are well recognized across the industry. With design and tender plus build, the strength lies in the formal transparency and its alignment with traditional procurement policies. With design plus build, the advantages are often in having cost control during the design phase and the potential for faster overall timelines. For boards and managers, the key takeaway is that it's not about deciding which model is better. It's about understanding the trade-offs that comes with each approach. The right fit will depend on your corporation governance requirements, procurement rules, and project priorities. Ultimately, the goal is to choose the model that best supports your board's decision-making process and the specific goals of your project. Thank you for taking the time to watch this session. I hope it helps you feel more confident when navigating refurbishment projects in your community.